Hi guys, I'm live. I'd like to say I really enjoy having this channel. I do enjoy having this channel, and I enjoy rocking out like I just did with Round and Round. It's a great rock and roll song. I mean, come on, it's really hard to beat that song. I don't know who you are. That's a great song. And I did 3 takes because I didn't like the first one because I barely knew the words. I didn't like the second one because I missed one of the parts that included words, and I did the third one and I finally got all the words right, at least, sort of. So I'm happy with that. Enough. And now, to change gears, I want to do an instruction video. It's still guitar, but it's not so much rocking out, but something I want to talk about on guitar technique, theory, I should say. It's not so much how to play, the technique of it, it's the theory I want to get at right now. So, buckle up. This is going to be a cool lesson. I think a very in-depth lesson, and one that doesn't get covered that much, maybe even by the greats like Rick Beato. But I bet you Jeff Berlin knows this and has talked about it. I'm going to talk about the Messiaen modes, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about atonal music, serial composition, and atonality. But let's go for it. Okay, it's a daunting subject. There's 12 notes in a chromatic scale, and there's 3 ways of multiplying numbers from 12 and under, but not including 0, to get 12. And then within each of those 3 ways, there's 2 ways of putting it. You can switch the multiplication around. So there's actually 6 ways total, I think. First of all, we're going to start with the interval of a single half step combined makes a chromatic scale, which is 12 notes, and there's only one of those. Whereas an octave, which is 12 half steps, but only defines 1 note, there's 12 of those because there's 12 notes. So there's 12 octaves, but only 1 chromatic scale, so we can get that out of the way. It's trivial stuff. We all know there's 12 notes in a chromatic scale, and a chromatic scale has 12 notes. The other possibilities are more interesting. A whole tone scale is all whole tones. There's 6 of them that make up an octave. And there's 2 of those because 6 times 2 is 12. The other one would be this. Okay. And then similarly, a tritone is 6 half steps. Divides the octave into 2 parts, and there's 6 of those because 2 times 6 is 12. So there's 1 tritone here, then there's 1 here, then here, then here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1 here, then here, 2, 3. The 7th is the same as the first one by inversion. So there's whole tone scale is whole tones, and there's 6 of those. A tritone is 6 half steps, and there's 6 of those because 2 times 6 is 12. Then there's the diminished 7th arpeggio, which is 4 minor thirds. And there's 3 of those because 4 times 3 is 12. And there's the augmented triad, which is major thirds. There's 4 of those because 3 times 4 is 12. That's just preliminary, check it out. And then a 12-tone row. Well, first of all, there's such a thing as a note, but a note has a pitch and a time value. Like a note, you have to say a note, you have to say A, but a quarter note. But if you leave off the time value and just says an A, that's called a pitch. Now, if you say any A, there's many A's depending on what octave, but if you say all A's of the same octave are the same, it's called a pitch class. So the pitch class of A is all the A's are the same because they're all octaves apart. So there's an A pitch class. Then there's 12 pitch classes because there's 12 notes. And if you take a pitch class clock, it would be all the numbers from 0 to 11, and 0 can be whatever note you start with, and all the pitch classes go around the clock. Pitch class clock. There's only 11 intervals though, because the unison and the octave are trivial intervals because they don't need a second note. So there's only only one semitone. That's one interval. 2 semitones is the interval. Then 3 semitones is the interval. 4, 5, 6, up to 11. But that makes only 11 intervals. If you say 11 intervals up and down with any octave in between, that would be many different intervals for each interval. But if you say interval class, you mean take them all down to one octave. In other words, octave equivalents of intervals. So an octave and a fifth is just a fifth, and 2 octaves and a fifth is a fifth. So the fifth can be a interval class, and there's 11 interval classes. Okay, well, I'm covering this fast because it's boring. LOL. And then there's such a thing as a 12-tone row. That's any of the 12 notes in order, but you have to play. You can't play once you play a note. You can't play that note again until you've played all the other 11. So it's all 12 different notes going one after the other, and not repeating a single one until you've repeated all the other 11. It's called a 12-tone row, and you can play it on any of the 12 notes. So there's 12 versions of that, but that's just the original version. You can also do an inverted version, which is the same as the first 12-tone row, but yet the interval's in reverse, like a negative harmony version. So there's the inverted version and those can be on any 12 notes. So that makes another 12. That's 24 so far. Then you can retrograde. You can go to take the first row and play it backwards, just starting from the last note to the first note. That makes a retrograde version, and you can play that underneath the 12 notes. So that's another 12 versions. So that's 36. Then you can start with the inversion, the inverted row, and then play that backwards, which is an inverted retrograde, and that's another fourth possibility. And you can play that underneath the 12 notes. That makes another 12. So there's actually 48 different ways of playing one single 12-tone row. And if that's boring, then I'm sorry, but if it isn't, go back and hear what I said, and it's all there. So there's 48 different 12-tone rows ways of playing any given one 12-tone row. And I'm going to demonstrate this with the most trivial 12-tone row there is, which is the chromatic scale. And just show you what I mean. And then I'm going to get into Messiaen modes. I think it'll be an interesting video. Okay, I'm going to make the most trivial 12-tone row is just the chromatic scale. So I'm going to play first in E. I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 0. Okay, that would be a 12-tone row. That would be on E and E, but I can play it in F, or F sharp, or G. Now there's 12 different ways I can play it because it can start any of 12 notes. So there's 12 different chromatic scales. That's 12 so far. Now I can do the retrograde of E chromatic scale. Is this an E chromatic scale going backwards, going down? That would be just. Okay, that would be one possibility. Then you can do retrograde starting on F, starting right on F sharp, starting on G. Oh, I went too far. G. Let's do it again. Okay, so there's 12 ways they can start that retrograde on any of the 12 notes. That's where there's 12 of those, and that would be just a descending chromatic scale, so that makes 24. Now I'm going to do a retrograde. That was the inverted, but it's also the retrograde because the retrograde is just the scale in reverse order. So the retrograde is the same as the inversion. So that's also just downward chromatic scale, and there's 12 of those, but you haven't really played anything new, so there's still just 24. And then finally, the inverted retrograde. Well, the inversion is just a downward chromatic scale, and to play that backwards, which would be retrograde, you just play the original forward chromatic scale again. So the inverted retrograde version is just the original version. It's just the ascending chromatic scale. So that's another that extra 12 doesn't add to 24 either. So there's only 24 versions of a chromatic scale. 12 going up and 12 going down. 12 ascending, 12 descending. And there's only 24 because the other two possibilities are each equal to one of the other two that I just said. That's in the most trivial 12-tone row, but there's way more complex ways of doing it, and you can make up all kinds of Arnold Schoenberg, Arnold Schoenberg, Aton Baird, Aton Baird, Webern, Schoenberg, Berg, and Webern. Webern, yeah, Webern and Berg and Schoenberg, yeah, that's them. And something Webern, Antonio Webern, Anton Berg, and Arnold Schoenberg. They were all in the 20th century before it became perhaps neoclassical. They went back to classical because more specifically Baroque, perhaps, or maybe just all classical, because it was so stale. This version of music, I'm telling you, you guys can do it better. Okay. Now, Messiaen modes. It gets a little funner now. There's 7 Messiaen modes. They're all modes of limited transposition, and they only have they may not have as many modes as there are notes in there, but let's just try those all out. There's 7 of them. The first Messiaen mode is the whole tone scale. That's a mini Messiaen mode, the whole tone scale. It just happens to have 2 transpositions because there's only 2 of them, and it happens to have only 1 mode because no matter what note you start on, it's the same. Second Messiaen mode is the diminished scale. Half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. That has only 2 modes, and it has only 3 transpositions. Just look it up, or just trust me. Third mode is a mode that looks like that. There's a 9-note scale that has 3 augmented triads in it. Or in 1 octave. That has 4 transpositions and 3 octaves. 3 modes. 3 modes, 4 transpositions. Now, the 4th Messiaen mode is this. It's half step, half step, half step, minor third, half step, half step, minor third. It has 4 modes and 6 transpositions. Works for me. Yeah, I think so. I think that's correct. Should be. I think so. It's basically just check it out. Then the 5th Messiaen mode is this. It's both half step, major third, half step, major third. It has 3 modes and 6 transpositions, I think. That was the 5th Messiaen. The 6th Messiaen mode is the funnest one. It's interesting. It has 4 modes and 6 transpositions. Let's check it out. Try it again. Okay, all it is whole tone, half tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone, half tone. Okay? More octave. it has four. It has six. No. It has 6 transpositions and 4 modes. The 4 modes are interesting. I'm going to play them all because I like this scale. So the first one I already did. I'll do it again. Second, that's one of the modes. Second mode, I'm just going to play a different key. Almost. Try it again. That's the second mode. The modes can be in, I'm not saying there's no particular order, then that's the second one I'm playing. Here's the third one. Try it again. I did that one right. There's fourth mode. All the modes. I did them in different keys. That's all. Finally, the 7th mode, the 7th Messiaen mode is this. Once again. We're in a different key, but that was right. There are 5 modes of that and 6 transpositions of that. So that's all of them. In fact, in the 6th mode is my favorite. The way I look at that 6th mode, well, I'll tell you how I look at all of them, okay? I played them, but you may be going, what? That's just a bunch of notes to me. I'll explain them now. The first Messiaen mode is a whole tone scale. Whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone. Second Messiaen mode is a diminished scale. Whole tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone. The third Messiaen mode is basically 2 half steps repeated up a major third 3 times. That's all. 3 notes in a row, then take that up a major third, up another major third, and when you go to the next major third, you get the octave you started, what you started with. That's all. The 4th Messiaen mode is 3 consecutive half steps up a tritone. So that's it. An octave. So 3 half steps in a row, then 3 half steps in a row up a diminished 5th tritone, and then the octave. The fifth Messiaen mode is 2 half steps in a row up a tritone. That's it. So 6 notes, there you have it. The sixth Messiaen mode is my favorite. It is one of 4 patterns that each have 4 notes, then transposed up a tritone. So first way of looking at it is whole step, half step, but then put that up a tritone. So just go whole step, half step, whole step, half step up a tritone, and then the octave. That's all it is. Second way I do it is half step, whole step up a tritone. And then up a tritone. Simple. Half step, whole step, half step, whole step up an octave. Third way I do it is just a whole step, half step up the tritone. So whole step, half step, whole step, half step up the tritone. And the octave. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Next, last one is half step, whole step up a tritone. So half step, whole step. Try to get half step, whole step. Okay. Those are interesting because 4 modes are very different from each other, but they're all the same Messiaen. They're all the same interval, in the same scale, just starting on a different note. That's for 4 modes, but yet 6 transpositions of it. Now, last thing I'll say is I'm going to explain. The modes are simple. It's just starting on a different note. How do you know how many transpositions it has? How did I do that so fast? And how do you do that? Well, there's basic. It's hard to explain, but a tritone has 6 transpositions. So if you take a tritone out of a scale, you have 6 transpositions because the absence of a tritone also has 6 transpositions. So the 7th Messiaen mode is just 10 notes, which is all 12 notes minus one of the tritones. So that if one of the tritones is missing, that has 6 transpositions, just like a tritone itself. What single has 6 transpositions. It's just math, you know. So this has 6 transpositions as well as this. So there's that. And then other of the scales are missing what amounts to a piece of a whole tone scale, which is missing this. Like the 6th Messiaen mode is 8 notes missing this. But since this is just a piece of a whole tone scale, and the whole tone scale has 2 transpositions. Wait, let me get that. That's not true. It's not a whole tone. It's not a full whole tone scale. Therefore, it's missing a tritone, or in this case 2 tritones. But just like I said before, the 6th mode has 4 modes. The 6th Messiaen mode has 4 modes, but it has 6 transpositions because it's missing basically a tritone, but 2 of them, but not enough to imply a whole tone scale. So it does have 6 transpositions, just like a tritone does. I'm saying. So this is not a whole tone scale. The whole tone scale has 2 transpositions, but still has 6 transpositions because it's missing. It's really just a version of the tritone. So that explains why the 6th Messiaen mode has 6 transpositions, but it has 4 modes. It just does. Check it out. Basically, because it's 4 notes, 4 notes, and then repeat 4 notes up a tritone. So those 4 notes make 4 of the modes. You start on one of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them. Starting on either one of those 4 notes makes the 4 modes. But the fact that it's missing a tritone, the 2 tritones, makes it have 6 transpositions. And then I said the 5th Messiaen mode was that also has 6 transpositions because it's tritone-ish. It's just taking out 3 times. It takes out 3 tritones, but still like taking out 1. So 6 transpositions. Has 3 modes because it's 3 notes up a tritone. So each of the 3 notes there has a mode to it. The 4th Messiaen mode is 3 tritones in a row. 3 half steps in a row up a tritone. So it has 6 transpositions just like a tritone, but 4 modes because it's 4 notes, then 4 notes up a tritone. So starting each of those 4 notes makes the 4 modes of the 4th Messiaen mode. 3rd Messiaen mode has 3 modes because it's 3 notes up a major third 3 times. So it has 3 modes, but because it's missing it's all the 9 notes except one augmented triad. So that augmented triad it's missing has 4 transpositions. Therefore, playing all the notes but that augmented triad also has 4 transpositions. So the 3rd Messiaen mode only has 4 transpositions but 3 modes. 4 transpositions because it's missing an augmented triad. An augmented triad is 3 notes, therefore it has 4 transpositions. And then since the 3rd Messiaen mode is all the 9 notes except one augmented triad, it also has 4 transpositions. But since it has 3 notes just displaced up a major each time, it has 3 modes. Now the 2nd Messiaen mode is a diminished scale. It has 3 transpositions because a diminished scale is all 8 notes except one diminished 7th chord. But that diminished 7th chord has 3 transpositions. So the 2nd Messiaen mode, which is a diminished scale, has 3 transpositions, but it has 2 modes because there's 2 different ways of looking at it. You can look at this whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, or half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. There you have it. The 1st Messiaen mode is a whole tone scale, which has only 1 mode because whole tone is only 1 mode, and it only has 2 transpositions because there's only 2 whole tone scales because 6 times 2 is 12 and there's 6 notes in a whole tone scale. Love you guys. Peace, rock and roll.